Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Welcome to Night of the Living podcast, where we discuss horror, science fiction, and fantasy films. Sexual fantasy films.
Oh, wow.
That's for our patrons.
Yeah. So we're doing Screampunk, which sounds like instructions that you say to somebody right before you're about to end their life or something.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Scream comma punk.
Something like what Clint Eastwood would say.
Yeah. But it's not that dark. In fact, it's much lighter than that. It's a steampunk theme.
Yeah.
In case you're just tuning in, we already covered the adventures of Baron Munchausen, Delicatessen, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, and now this is Diane, our personal friend and mailing list subscriber.
Yep. Her
pick.
Mortal Engines.
A movie I knew nothing about.
Me either.
At all. So we'll get into that later. Andy, I found the perfect show for you. I just watched it before you got here.
Kind of worried about what he's going to suggest.
No, you're going to love this. It's 55 minutes long. It's on Netflix. It just came out. Have you seen the Trainwreck series they're doing? Like, it's shit that just goes haywire. It's a documentary about different ones. And this one is The Poop Cruise. Do you remember The Poop Cruise?
Is that where they got stranded and they couldn't dock
bags.
And they couldn't get rid of the poop?
Andy, I feel like it will tickle you in a way that, like, because we've had these conversations on vacation together before, you know, everything goes wrong. It's really crazy.
Is there like a, in my mind, when you said everything goes wrong, I imagine like a slip and slide, but with poop.
Oh, that more or less happens. Okay. That's like the third act. You're spoiling it. It's awful, dude.
Oh, poop is awful.
It's awful, but it's still funny. Like, it's still, I mean, I know it's kind of traumatic for some people, but overall, it's still pretty funny.
I mean, poop is gross, but it's also funny.
Yeah.
Hey, we all do it.
Yeah.
Nobody died.
So do they talk about other train wrecks throughout history? Like what?
The mayor that was doing crack.
Oh, Canadian mayor.
I was thinking Mayor Barry.
Remember
Mayor of Ottawa.
Chris Farley used to play him on SNL, didn't he?
Oh, Doug something. Doug.
Chris Farley died before.
Yeah.
Was that before that?
Oh, well before.
Yeah, it's the mayor with the crazy hair.
Yeah. Are you sure about that?
Yes.
This was like in 2000.
Is this
like
a
2010s.
Kazam situation?
Yeah.
You just assume that because they look alike.
Was Kazam what I'm thinking
Shazam.
of?
Isn't it Shazam?
Which one's the one that's Mandela effect?
Shazam, right?
I don't know.
Did you hear that ding?
Or is it Berenstain Bear effect? Which effect is it?
That one gets me because I was a big fan and I always thought it was the Berenstain Bears.
I can't remember.
Is that
which
right?
I think Stain is right.
It's not
But I always
Stein.
thought it was the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah.
Then I was just a stupid kid. That's not the Mandela effect.
Anywho, Chris Farley did not play Tom Ford. Is that his name? No, that's a
Rob
fashion
Ford.
guy, right? Rob Ford. Thank you.
Yeah.
Totally made that
Speaking
up in my
of
imagination.
everything that could go wrong.
Yeah.
You got every bit of it wrong.
I got it all wrong, but Poop Cruise is great. Long story short.
Did it is like Fire Festival in this?
I think that
The
is
food was.
the first. I think Trainwreck, the first documentary these people made was that Fire
okay.
Festival. I think it's the same people. Like, so you can get the idea what the attitude going in is. It's very much like the Fire
You're right.
Festival.
I would love this series. Who doesn't love a good train wreck?
Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of like the fun. It's kind of like the old way of kind of giggling at certain things, where you're like, "Oh, I hope nobody gets hurt too badly," but this is ridiculous.
The old way? You mean the way we used to
The insensitive
enjoy
times.
things in the 90s?
In the insensitive times, and then there was shit, I forgot.
Shit.
It doesn't matter. There's shit everywhere.
Well, speaking of shit, like when you said train wreck and poop, I immediately thought of Dave Matthews Band and the Poop Bus.
The Poop Bus.
There should be a documentary on that.
I'm sure there is.
Or an art film. Like
sure
a
there's
college art film.
4-hour-long YouTube video essay about it.
Yeah.
I'd put money on that.
There has to be.
Patreon.com/NOTLP if you're interested to have some more of us.
Yeah.
Because there's more content over there.
I just posted Origins there. We're into 2013 now. And this
Of this show.
Of this show, yeah. And this one, we were doing kid-friendly horror movies. Not, but our actual podcasts were not kid-friendly.
No.
You know, and I know we were aware of it in the time when we were doing it, but I also want to reiterate now that it's not kid-friendly audio. It's just about kid-friendly movies, just in case.
Don't listen to it around the kiddos.
And we covered the Rosewood Lane, which was that movie that Victor DeSalva came out of retirement to make with Rose McGowan. That was our roulette. And then our main attraction was Joe Dante's The Hole. So
I vaguely remember that.
If you can imagine if we're
Lots of hole jokes.
Yeah.
While Freddy was talking to us, he was doing politician hands.
Oh,
You were with the thumb on top of your fist.
that's weird.
You know that hand gesture where they're holding like an invisible pen?
I didn't even realize I was doing that until you pointed it out. What is that?
I don't know. Maybe you have the
I think
president gene
I was
in
trying
you.
to draw the image of what they were, because I also thought I was prepared for you to start giggling at the hole. So that's why I was kind of like, maybe my instinct was to distract you with something so you wouldn't point out that the hole is funny.
It's like, is he running for podcast office?
He is.
Yeah, because we
Podcast
talked
president.
a lot about how we couldn't get through saying the whole much.
Could a movie be named The Hole nowadays without it totally becoming a
meme?
A meme
I feel
and
like
bombing?
It's a good title. I feel like there's a reason. There's many works titled The Hole. It's too good. And you know what? Some of them are pornos. You're right.
Oh.
But we should never remove it from the vernacular.
No, because what's wrong with something that gives you a giggle?
Right.
Every time.
Every time. We
Every
also,
time.
Topicana. What was the last topic?
We just posted Topicana, which is where we talk about the topics of the day.
Yeah.
I think we talked about Sabrina Carpenter's new album
yeah.
cover.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about other things that were happening that I can't remember right now.
It feels like a million years ago.
Do you remember, Andy?
We talked about ChatGPT.
ChatGPT as a therapist.
Toxic Avenger.
The Toxic
trailer.
Avenger trailer, yeah.
And other things, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So check that out.
If you want to know what we think of that,
Owen Zoned Out.
that's where you can get zoned out ad-free on our Patreon.
Yeah.
This Twilight Zone show.
I
that Freddy
should
does.
say ad-free zoned out is how I should have phrased that.
You really should.
And I should. And
Every
I
time I have to clarify.
Yeah, I know. I realized that.
You put a
just
lot of
now.
work in a lot of emotional labor.
You get ad-free. Not only this ad-free, but also zoned out.
Yes. So yeah, patreon.com/NOTLP.
Cool.
Anything else we should talk about before we move on to Mortal Engines?
I don't know.
Are we allowed to complain about the heat?
It's fucking hot.
We just have to say because it's hot right now.
Yeah, it's appropriate. We're doing steam.
Yeah.
I listened to this Australian podcast. It's called Shameless. And they're talking about how cold it is now and how it's winter there. And I'm like, I miss winter.
Makes me think of Ben. I wonder, you know how Ben's doing? You
95
Every now
degrees
and
out.
then he checks in on us. We check in on each other.
make sure the other side of the globe's
Yeah.
still there.
It's like, how is it cold down there?
It's cold down there. They don't know how
here.
good they have it.
All right. We will be right back.
Okay.
Turn out lights, it's the main attraction. This week's main attraction is Diane's pick. This is based on a 2001 Scholastic UK novel. It wasn't even a series. I figured it seemed like it was enough for a series, but it was just a novel by Philip Reeve. And it's the first.
Was the
in-
novel also called Mortal Engines?
Yep, Mortal Engine. Sorry, I didn't say the title. This is the first and only feature film directed by Christian Rivers, he's primarily known as like Peter Jackson's kind of right-hand man who did his storyboards and special effects. He started with him when they did Dead Alive or Brain Dead if you're overseas. And he did that. He was 17. He had just graduated from high school. And that's how him and
love
Peter
Dead
Jackson were together. Yeah. That's one of the Dead Alive is like kind of sacred to us.
It's kind of the reason we hooked up.
We connected about Dead Alive. So he won an Academy Award for his work in King Kong, the Peter Jackson King Kong, which is great.
Which is sad.
is also sad. But yeah, Christian Rivers, I thought was an interesting guy. I don't know anything about the author Phil Reeve. I don't feel like his name came up anywhere else. But
I don't know anything.
This is 1,000 years in the future or more,
Yeah.
right? I think I got that right. 60-minute war. This is after the 60-minute war.
This is 1,000 years after the 60-minute war.
It's a lot of math already.
Was Leslie Stahl a general?
Everybody's just saying their names. Oh boy,
That's an old person joke right there.
I'm Tom Natsworthy. Is it 60 Minutes that has the ticking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Andy? Who is that guy
Andy
that complained at the
Rooney.
end?
Yep.
I'm Thaddeus Valentine with the editorial.
Are you just reading off character names because you made notes and you're so proud of yourself?
Fucking proud. I made notes. There's 171 roles in this movie.
Okay.
It's a lot of bread.
Are they buttered?
Some are hammy.
Are some Hawaiian?
Some are Hawaiian. Yeah, so
Bread jokes.
What was the 60-minute war? Did anybody really understand
No,
that?
it was just
It was
the Medusa bomb destroyed
Yeah.
the world, basically.
that was it.
That was all they gave us. And again, none of us have read the book, so we don't know.
The
if
book, I'm
there's-
sure, goes way more into detail.
it's like it doesn't explain like the sides and the why they went to war. We just know about the bomb.
So there's this whole theory, which I didn't Google. I wanted to be impregnated with wonder. The municipal Darwinism. I think they made that up. I've never heard that before. Have you?
It wasn't a blue link on Wikipedia, so I don't think it's
no?
a thing.
Okay. So I was wondering. So they make this up
It's
and they build
because
attraction cities, right?
They build these cities that can move, that
Yeah.
can drive. Why they did that?
Well, apparently it's because these bombs affected the tectonic plates of the Earth. So the Earth is unstable now.
Did they say that in the movie?
No, I had to. I'm sure they might have, but I missed it.
remember.
Andy, I think you figured that out.
No, I read it
Yeah.
because like I was after watching the movie, I was like
Yeah.
kind of confused.
Yeah.
So I had to go back to Wikipedia or wherever to find out why they were on these
Gotcha.
moving cities.
So they couldn't just stay one place because eventually the Earth crumbles under
Yeah.
them. Okay, that makes sense. So
But eventually, apparently, the Earth has settled by then. By the time we catch up to the movie,
yeah,
and they don't really need these cities anymore. But they're just so used to that way of life that it's hard.
like
that they-
Logan's Run,
yeah.
where they won't change. Where they, I kind of like. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's some shit. We get stuck in our ways. See, there's some adult themes in there, but
There are these great predator cities, which I
Yeah.
thought was a cool concept. This idea, because the bigger cities absorb and destroy the smaller cities. They go after them for their resources.
and they are taking over other traction cities too, right?
Yeah.
So not only are they going after the idea of the stationary one, the big.
Well, there's the big shield wall
one.
that they
Yeah.
can't get past.
Okay. So that's where all the stationary. We watched.
There's
this
only one
a few days
stationary.
ago.
There's
There's
only
only
one-
that.
yeah.
And that's what used to be China is now whatever. They named it in this, but okay.
Shanguo.
I feel like this is making more sense the more we talk.
I don't know.
about it.
I think if you go to Wikipedia and you look at the plot and you just read it, and if you don't know anything about this, it sounds bananas.
Yeah.
It just sounds they're throwing 1,000 names, concept ideas
it's a lot.
at you, without really super explaining all of them.
Well, this is why I have notes for the first time in a while.
Yeah,
I was overwhelmed by this movie.
This movie wasn't made for people that haven't read the source material.
Right. Because it leaves you wanting so much more in the story because you don't understand the motivations. You don't understand why
And there's
in so many instances.
and like Freddy said, there's 170 roles.
Yeah,
so there's a lot
of
of
people
characters
involved.
to keep track of and
Right.
their roles in this world too.
So the traction cities. So the idea of these traction cities is what leads to the municipal Darwinism, because they're saying basically a municipality can prey on a weaker
survival of the fittest.
survival of the fittest
cities.
of cities, but they eat the city, but then they allow all the citizens of that city to
live on the London does anyway.
to integrate in.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little gray. It still feels a little gray. It feels like Starship Troopers almost at this point, where it feels like there's a propaganda machine going on. You're kind of
Yeah.
seeing that version of things.
It's a metaphor for colonialism.
Yeah.
I almost thought you said
Cunnilingus.
It's hard to say.
I got
colonialism.
colonialism.
That's a hard
Your
one.
cunnilingolisms. That's a tongue twister.
It does. It should be. Yes. So we're basically very concerned with London. That's
Yeah.
the traction city we're dealing with.
Fucking giant lions. I didn't know. At first, I thought when I saw them, I asked Amy, because I assume she always knows what's going on. I said, did it eat New York?
Because the New York Public Library has lions out front.
And then there's another perspective.
But they have lions all over the
Yeah,
world.
all over the world.
That's a
These-
pretty common motif.
Yeah, but these lions are like 10 times the size of the ones in New York. So like immediately when they switched angles, I knew I was stupid. So I just want to admit that.
You didn't have to.
It was
You
important
don't
to me.
have to humiliate yourself.
I'm just saying it didn't eat New York. So we don't know what's the status.
Maybe
Of
they
our
just
cities,
built these
right?
giant lions.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
I think you're thinking about it too much.
You really
Yeah.
are.
I'm carsing mortal engines. Okay. Oh, the Anti-Traction League.
Yes.
Like the rebels, basically.
There's a resistance to the great predator cities, and that is the anti-traction
And
league.
what's her name? Anna Fong, right?
Yeah.
She's the leader. She's like the Princess Leia of the Anti-Traction League,
Right.
but also combined with the Han Solo. She's both of them together in
Yes.
one character.
Correct.
And she's in charge
She's
of
not
Sean
even your
Guo,
main
kinda, right?
character.
No, but she feels really important. She feels way more important than any of the other characters we've met at this point, as far as the story goes.
Well,
Consequential.
They
Yeah.
keep building up to something for her because there's all these wanted posters.
Right.
And like she seems like this big dangerous character, and she's not introduced until like the third act, basically.
Yeah, they totally screwed up with that kid. She could have been the focal point or shared it with the other two leads. She should have been a third lead and not just like she became a Lando Calrissian kind of character.
Oh my God! What Star Wars character
Well,
is she
Like
not?
right down to
This is a very Star Wars movie.
right down to Cloud City.
Yeah, she's even in like a
Oh,
Cloud
yeah.
City. But she's just kind of dumped in. I don't know if they do this in the book or not, but she's just kind of dropped in.
Yeah.
When she should have had a concurrent like backstory playing out or something. I don't know.
She was just more fascinating.
Yeah.
They should have. She was more entertaining.
Yeah, it's just goes to. It's like one of the many reasons why this book seems too dense to adapt to a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. A lot of potential though, like a ton of potential. Then there's a whole subplot where we haven't even got to like Tom
Yeah,
Maxworthy.
you haven't even.
Yeah. Sorry.
Is that our main character?
I'd say
his
the
name?
dude.
He's
The dude, right?
You're supposed to, I think
The
you
Luke,
see it.
the Skywalker character.
Yeah, he's like the Skywalker. We're never gonna get away from Star Wars with this. It's exactly Star Wars. It is.
So who's Scarface?
Who? Oh, she's kind of.
She's Han Solo, kind
Yeah.
of.
What was her name in the movie?
She's
Han
Hester
Solo,
Shaw.
Leia.
I would say she's more Boba Fett to me. I don't know that, but then she kind of becomes something else. They do change archetypes throughout the movie, but they're definitely Star Wars archetypes. They may become 3 of them over the course of the movie, but everything that pops in this, you're like, oh yeah, that's that.
Star Wars did it.
You're gonna just feel that instinctually. You'll know.
So you got Tom, and he's in London, and he works for the London Museum, which is very concerned with old tech, meaning stuff from our time.
And artifacts that they just dig up.
Our
because
current time.
there's this hilarious moment where they reveal the minions.
They uncover what they refer to as American deities, statues of American deities, and they uncover a couple of minions.
It's hilarious. As in banana.
Banana. I feel like, was it the studio that produced the same?
Yeah, it's Universal.
Yeah.
So it was originally Mickey Mouse, and I can't remember if it was Mickey and Pluto, but they made them change. Well, they were like, we're Universal. We're gonna put the minions in.
Ugh.
It would have been more impactful if it was Mickey Mouse, because that's the thing that probably will turn up. It seems to have that staying power as an artifact. Where
You
the
can see
minions,
Mickey turning into a religion.
There's just so much Mickey.
Yeah.
It's really about volume.
Right.
Maybe there's that many minions now too. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never seen one of those movies.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
You never seen Despicable Me?
No.
Oh, that's a really good movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Bananas.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
moments like that where they just pull up old tech.
Oh, like a toaster?
Yeah,
The
and
two
they're-
slot.
and they're like, hey, look at the stuff that you guys are used to.
It's like
Isn't it silly?
well, also Valentine, who's the
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving. Ultimately, he's going to be the bad
He's
guy.
your
You
villain.
know it, and they're commiserating because he was the head of the Guild of Historians, but he was also the
That's
mayor.
so steampunk to have a guild.
Yeah. So he has two real important roles in the story. I don't know if they combine two characters here or not from the book. It feels like they did, but for some reason he's the head of this organization and the mayor. So he
He's
connects.
not the mayor. There's a mayor. It's the old bald guy.
Or
Yeah,
he's the deputy mayor. He's like he
He's like-
answers to the mayor.
exactly.
Okay. So Tom and him are like commiserating over the toaster.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that as stupid as silly as a lot of that scene is, like that's something that was like a kind of an exciting moment where you think about these characters who are reinterpreting these things from our time and everything. And I was hoping they would like go down that route more. And I do like that it plays into like why Valentine ends up with the device he does end up with and everything to explain why he would even come across something like that. That was really well thought out, but then again, you hit these long patches of no development on the stuff that's really interesting.
My biggest one of the biggest complaints is I didn't know the motivation of the Hugo Weaver character.
Well, he just wanted the resources of the next place because he thought he was protecting his people.
But why was he trying to? Why was there a coup to overthrow the mayor?
Because he wanted power.
It's like, was the mayor on board with the same plan?
No.
I did look up in the book. The mayor's
No.
more like the emperor in Star Wars.
There you go. So like Hugo Weaving's basic his motivation
He's
was
like Darth Vader.
to destroy the Shangguo city.
He was
right?
in the book.
Yeah.
He's
But-
less evil than the mayor. So
but the mayor didn't
yeah.
want to do the taking over of the Shangguo, right?
I think he eventually
Okay.
did
I don't know. Yeah,
because they needed the resources.
I do think it's
But
interesting.
honestly,
yeah.
I don't know.
They took the nuance out of that Valentine character because did you look up how it plays out in the book? Like with
No.
him, he's a sympathetic character who just kind of has no choice. So in this, he's straight up villain. He pushes her off to kick everything off.
Into
When
the
they
chute.
reveal that she's the villain is when he pushes her down the garbage chute, like in
But
Star Wars.
But but leading up to it, it was not very. It was thinly veiled that he was eventually being the villain.
Right. Well, Hugo Weaving kind of has that vibe.
Yeah.
Ever since the Matrix, it's burned into everyone.
It's his eyebrows. They're
Yeah.
too pointy.
Yeah,
too large.
he's
Yeah.
such a striking. Like his face is just nobody looks like him.
I have
But like even leading up to that, even aside from his looks, he was so squirrely about certain things that
Yeah.
you knew he was covering something
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the minute you knew that, like the young sweet girl, that was her dad. I don't know. Then you were like, he's bad.
Yeah, because you knew
'Cause
she would
she's-
have to stand up.
She's
to
gonna
him.
have to. Yeah. I have
Again, a Star Wars.
You know, it was Beavis and Catherine. I remember them as like Beavis and Butthead, but Beavis and
Yeah.
Catherine. They're the two characters that are most minor of all. Are they 3P? They're probably 3PO and R2D2, right? And for our purposes.
But it's like the reveal was like, "I am your father" reveal.
Oh yeah, that they did that too.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
They did it all. They hit all the greatest hits here.
it's steampunk Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I do have a correction to something we said earlier. I said the movie never mentions what happened to the Earth after the war, but in fact I wrote it down here. So they
okay.
had to have told us
That's
that it
okay.
shattered the Earth's crust.
It's been days.
It's been days since I've seen this.
Well, Andy knew the Earth's crust thing.
But
Yeah,
afterwards,
but he
I
looked
looked
it
it up.
Oh, okay.
But it's just my own faulty memory.
See, I forgot that part. Isn't that amazing?
Anyway,
I'm sure that you guys would have remembered that, but since we watched the movie together and we tend to be chatty Cathy's
Yeah.
watching movies together, so it's not necessarily the fault of the movie. It's probably us.
it's us a little bit.
I usually turn the subtitles on so I can talk with Amy, like we're watching something if we need to. We'd be like, hey. So we don't. Can you rewind that so I can understand what they said?
But I still do that because I'm losing my hearing.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's the main reason for me.
Exactly.
But Beavis was just nothing. Like
That's not the character's real name.
yeah, Beavis was the guy. He was the guy. They remember she had a partner.
His name was really Beavis?
His name was Beavis, and he was the engineer
They
guy.
named a guy Beavis?
He was kind of like Wedge Antilles.
Are you talking about the guy that works in that other area?
He had
Yeah.
the swoopy bangs.
It was supposed to be like the love interest for the Hugo Weaving's daughter.
Yeah.
I forgot about him totally.
So Kane Beavis, and he's
I thought you were joking.
No, they totally put that guy in there. Like, he's going to be really important. You feel like he's going to have an arc of all of his own, and so should Catherine, right? Both of them. Like, they should have their own little B storyline where they're doing stuff.
They did.
Barely, nothing.
But barely.
It was like you
But
forget.
I'm sure in the book.
It's probably one of those things you forget they exist, right?
Yeah.
Every time they pop up, you're like, oh yeah, those guys.
Yeah, like Hugo Weaving has a daughter in this movie, and it's kind of built up that she's going to like, go against her dad at some point, and it's going to be a big moment in the movie. But nothing lays up, nothing pays off for that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel. Yeah, it feels hollow. Like, it feels like you could have omitted her character and Beavis from the script,
Right.
entirely.
And maybe you would have had more room for
Fong.
and then just more explaining.
So, Stalker. We haven't even got to Stalker yet.
Oh, Shrike.
Or Shrike.
Yeah. That's his name. He is a stalker.
He's a stalker. Okay.
He's a resurrected man, which I thought was a neato name. But I guess it's just a cyborg.
Yeah, they're
with
Darth
skin,
Vaders.
Skin over.
But it's built up that these things, resurrected people, are these big threats and something to be feared, but we never really know what they are.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions there about them, unless you caught something, Amy, that we
I
missed.
think they would have this really cool backstory. I mean, it's this idea that roaming the earth are these people who have decided to upload their consciousness into a robot and stretch their skin over their robot bodies.
It's so
and
creepy
wander the
looking.
earth.
The look is great.
Yeah.
The green glowing eyes, and that's Stephen Lang. Did you notice that?
Who's
Oh,
Stephen
really?
Lang?
He was in Don't Breathe. He
Avatar.
was the blind guy. Avatar.
Oh,
Blonde
okay.
hair. You know, real stern looking.
No,
you remember
it's
Don't
like,
Breathe?
It's
don't you?
like almost like white
the
hair.
blind man.
I've seen Don't Breathe. It doesn't mean I remember what everybody in the
If
movie
you
looks
saw
like.
his
Do you
face,
remember Don't Breathe
you
too?
remember him.
Okay.
He's in Don't Breathe too as well.
I barely recognize you people.
That's true. Well, we keep changing the way we look, like Roger on
I
My
would
American
love
Dad.
I would love to know more about the history
You
behind
gonna read the book?
Shrike. Maybe.
I mean, it seems like people tend to love the book.
Okay.
I like the movie quite a bit.
I might.
It was just missing
Yeah.
important pieces that would make it
There's
work.
A good movie or series somewhere buried underneath this.
Yeah.
What we saw.
It needs TLC.
Yeah.
And it means more humanity in it too.
And Shrike finds Hester, who really is our main character and we barely talked about because it's not that interesting. Her mom was also like an archaeologist looking for old tech because everybody wanted old tech. And she was murdered by Valentine when Hester was really young. And Hester was all alone, hiding, and running away from the murder. And Shrike found her and raised her. And it was very sweet with her and very kind. And so it was very at odds with what you think this character is supposed to be, which was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it ends horribly when she runs away because she doesn't want to become one of the resurrected men.
Yeah. Because what she promised
But she promised.
that she would become his. And this is where I just felt like, is he like adopting her as a stalker daughter, or is
Or
he
a wife.
or is he looking at her as a possible bride? Like, is the Bride of Frankenstein happening?
I don't
Like,
know.
what is it? But that guy,
No,
and
like-
it is as creepy as shit.
It's suggested that he had a daughter because they show like an old
Oh,
picture
Yeah.
of him in his human form and like a kid. So like there's still, even though he's this cyborg thing, there's still like a shred of humanity left in him.
And it insinuates he sees her
And
as
it
a daughter
misses,
as well.
it misses the child,
So
that he had.
is he the exception to the rule, or are they a misunderstood? We don't know any of this.
We don't know. He's the
Yeah.
only one we meet.
Yeah. And then he has some great scenes.
Oh, he was the best part of the movie for me.
Yeah. I like the assault on the Cloud. We're calling it Cloud City for shorthand. But was it a bunch of hot air bags? Wasn't it like a float, like
It was basically
hot
a
air balloons?
giant
I mean,
hot air balloon city.
yeah. So,
But he
I liked
just
it.
yeah.
in his pursuit of Hester, he causes a lot of damage
He
to some innocent people.
Yeah,
Probably
so,
killed a lot of people.
a little ambiguous.
It was pretty surprising to find out that this was like a young adult.
Oh, really?
No, just because of the level of violence
Yeah.
and the level, the amount of people that get killed in this movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty extreme for like. I know like there are like series like that, like Hunger Games and like,
Yeah.
the Maze Runner and stuff like that deal with post-apocalyptic destruction, but we don't really see that many people dying
Yeah,
on this scale.
You're right. Yeah, and also, again, Shrike's scary as hell to look at, even. So it makes me feel like it's like the intensity of a horror film character to me.
Yeah, because he
yeah.
throws people off he stabs people.
He's
like,
huge.
Yeah, he looks like a corpse in the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he-
a huge rotting corpse man.
It's just the level of violence in this movie
Yeah.
was so kind of surprising.
Yep, you're not wrong.
Anybody else notice that? I mean, we're only really well. Anyway, all the minorities were the rebels. It seemed like,
Yeah,
and all the white people were the people living in London.
straight across the board. You're right.
Pretty much.
I'm done with all my notes.
Oh, were you done with your notes?
Yeah, I didn't have a lot, but I did take some notes.
Hey, taking some notes. But I wrote that down. All the minorities are rebels.
This movie could have been really, really great. It has a lot of potential.
It just never gets bland.
Yeah. So
No,
it'd
I
be
like the look of it, like the London on wheels,
Yeah.
and like the kind of like spider leggy thingies.
yeah.
It was cool to look at, and the idea of these mobile cities was cool, and it was the most steampunk movie combined of all these that
It
we
was
saw.
for
Yeah.
sure that.
So
It
many
was-
gears.
Fits the definition better than any of them. It. Do you feel like they'll ever take another swing at this because the book was so popular that somebody will see this?
It has to be
potential?
like years and years in the
Yeah.
future, because like this only came out like maybe 10 years ago or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. So
Maybe it would make a better
series.
TV series when you can really get
Yeah,
into
you
the
need-
history.
You need to let certain things breathe, and this movie was like moving at a breakneck pace.
Just the city of London, you could set a whole movie
Yeah.
in that and never leave it, but they leave it so early in the movie. Like you could do, there's as a TV series, God, you could approach it so many great different ways. But I mean, do we have too much of this stuff already? Probably.
So I have a question for you. So it turns out Hester all along has had the kill switch for the Medusa bomb that existed in the past. Her mom had found it among some old tech. So she had this that was going to work on the new bomb or it's not a bomb. It's a laser. I don't know why I keep calling it a bomb. But so she has the kill switch that will work on the new laser that Valentine has built. So it's called Medusa, right? But on the kill switch, the part that she puts in,
USA.
it says USA on it. And I'm like, is this a commentary?
yes. Plainly, yes. Of course, the weapons came from the U.S.
Are you saying something
I don't think
about
it's just a
us?
commentary on the U.S. It's a commentary on the West.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because like, you know how London was like, they represent like Great Britain, and they're taking over so many other
they're
territories.
cold
Yeah.
and evil, colonial.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this is a nitpick probably, but that Shangguo city that they were trying to attack, and they needed to break down this big wall, but they built their city on the wall. You don't build the city on the wall.
You know
that
the
is meant to
wall.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The wall will get attacked.
Yes.
You dumbasses.
Yeah. That doesn't seem like it was really well thought out at all, does it? By the effects people, the designers.
And the writer probably
writer.
in
Yeah.
the book, like, because that's the whole point of the wall, is to protect people for beyond the wall. You don't build the people on the wall.
Andy knows from walls. You actually been to the real Great
Yeah.
Wall. That's called cred.
It's
Where
pretty,
I come
it's
from.
pretty good. I don't know if it's great.
Oh shit!
It's a good wall.
Mimi abandoned Drew Carey there somehow.
Yeah, that was a Drew Carey episode I
Now,
watched.
did it go
recently.
overseas?
There was an
There was a
episode where he was
China
in China.
episode.
Did they actually go to China?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for them.
It was very diplomatic.
It was us extending a hand. Back
Were
in
they-
the 90s.
Were they opening a department store in China or something?
No, this was a Mimi prank. Oh my God, are we talking about Drew Carey?
Are we done with
We're
Mortal
talking about
Engines?
Mortal Engines.
Yeah, what else is there to say?
I mean, there's a lot of story we didn't talk about, but
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be talked about.
It's that actress. The weird thing about her, she's like, this isn't the weird thing that she's like either Swedish or Norwegian, but regardless, she's.
You mean the girl who plays Hester Shaw?
Hester? Yeah, the one with the big scar on her face.
Yeah.
She was also on another something that I consider quality wise very much like Mortal Engines, where it had all this potential, and it's just shy of being a really good show. Is C, that show with Jason Momoa? Where
Oh, the blind show.
yeah, where she's his wife. She plays a blind character, and it's just funny that like I'm associating her with these two things that were just these near misses. So I think she might be jinxed. That's all I'm saying. So she's due for a win. When that happens, those actors are always due for a big win.
Big swing.
Something's going to happen with her career. It's going to explode, or she's going to disappear entirely.
I'm looking at this note I wrote, and I don't know what I was talking about. Now he's wearing a cool leather jacket.
Oh, is that the end when like he becomes the pilot that he always wanted to be?
Oh shit!
Yeah, because he didn't want to be a historian. You know, he's really passionate
Pilots have
about
to
it.
wear leather jackets.
He wanted Luke Skywalker. He wanted to be
Yeah.
a pilot.
There it is, Amy.
Oh my
Again.
God. But I thought, okay, yeah, it is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or maybe Star Wars is just using such generic templates.
Yeah, it
It's
is
the
like a-
hero's journey,
yeah.
but it's also these are very Star Wars coded.
And like Star
Beyond
Wars
that.
was based on a lot of other works
Yeah.
too. So like it's the
They're
Full
all
circle.
pulling
Yeah.
from the same places and each other.
Yeah.
and also just watching this movie, I was thinking about the amount of energy and resources you need to do run this mile high like this city. It's hard to describe how big the city is.
Yeah. It's ginormous. Yeah.
And I don't know how a city like big can support itself on that platform and move.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. I know it's fantasy.
Well, they were dangerously low on
Yeah.
resources to run the.
No, not
The
just
Oh,
city.
you mean it's the balance, right?
yeah,
Is what
just,
you're
not just
thinking of?
resources, but
Like how states
engineering
operate.
wise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
it would just sink.
yeah, well,
It's
I love
1,000 years in the future, Andy. They figured it out.
that was one thing I really liked was how they were in the giant tracks, the
Yeah.
the treads left behind.
Yeah.
And they gave you a sense of the scope of just the treads. And yeah, just overall as a science fiction spectacle, it's really neat. I don't know.
Okay.
I
No, I'm picking nits, but like that's what you do when you're not fully on board with the movie.
Yeah. It's just not. It's missing a lot of stuff. It needs another go.
Yeah.
It needs another once over
Wasn't
from
for
everyone
me.
involved.
But thank you, Diane, for the pick.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not mad I watched it.
Yeah, I'm really glad you like. I like learning about all this particular group of filmmakers. There's a lot of interesting connections because of that New Zealand boom and Lord of the Rings and everything else. It's all tied together
Boom.
in a web.
All right.
All right, you guys, do you want to move on and talk about our algorithm, whatevers, what have yous?
Well, what our algorithm's been serving up, what we've been watching and
Did you make it through Manhattan Baby?
No, I didn't.
All right, Manhattan Baby. I watched that. Amy fell asleep.
It was really fun.
It's a Fulci
Till I
like
fell asleep.
extra strip off. It's on Shudder. I recommend it. It's fun.
Is it Manhattan, baby?
No, it's just Manhattan Baby.
What's it about again?
This archaeologist in Egypt brings a curse home.
that's
His
right.
daughter gets possessed. Or was it his son?
I remember that. No, it was his,
His
daughter.
daughter. That's right. And the kid, the little blonde, toe-headed kid that's in it, is in another Italian horror movie where he eats all this stuff out of a can, and it always grossed me out.
He's just always eating out of a can.
Yeah. And I rewatched Blue Velvet because, Andy, you were talking about it, and I had it all mixed up with Young at Heart. I had the two movies, like, where Dennis Hopper's sucking the anal nitrate. I remember that being in Young at Heart. So I had it all mixed up. But I'm glad you brought that up because I really enjoyed revisiting that movie. But only because of you. I would never thought I'd do it otherwise. So thank you. There's Dragon Slayer. That's the other thing.
The video game?
No, the movie with Peter McNichol. And it has the Phil Tippett stop motion animation in it with a really cool dragon. It's one of those movies that was on cable a lot when we were growing up, but it's on Tubi. If you've never seen it, I recommend it highly. Especially if you're into visual effects and fantasy movies.
What's it about?
It's about Peter McNichol's a wizard's apprentice.
Does he slay dragons, like the titles suggests?
He becomes the Dragon Slayer. Or actually, Dragon Slayer is the name of the spear they make in the movie. Or the lance, whatever you want to call it. But it's a classic 80s fantasy adventure if you like stuff like Willow and stuff. It's actually a little more restrained than a Willow or you know.
Willow.
A Willow. Willow's a little more wild. This is more like a Lady Hawk, but with some real banging special effects for the time.
And I hear you see dong.
And you can see Peter McNichol's ding-a-ling when he
I just want equity.
It's a Disney movie
Nudity,
too.
equity.
It's a co-production between Paramount and Disney, which is really weird. And it has a full frontal male nudity in it and still has a PG rating.
Really?
It's not like he was swinging it, was he?
I don't know.
He was
I
helicoptering.
blinked and missed it.
He wasn't,
you know?
he wasn't meat spinning, was he?
Yeah. Peter McNichol's ashamed of this movie. I don't know why. It could be that. Maybe he didn't like that. He didn't realize maybe how exposed he was. What are you going to do?
We can do.
I figured I'd give mine rapid fire. Oh, The Long Road Home. Oh, no, not The Long Road Home. The Long Way Round. That's the name of it. Old docu series that, have you seen this? Ewan McGregor and Charlie, his best friend, Charlie, I can't remember, Borman. They ride motorcycles around the world. Like literally, like through Russia and Mongolia all the way back to London.
Like, do they go through like dangerous places?
Oh, yeah. They get involved in all this crazy stuff. But this is an older show. They recorded it. I think the original was like 2004. And since then, they did like another one where they drove north and south. And now they've just did a whole new one, which is why it's back in the algorithm and, you know, being recommended the original stuff. Highly, highly recommend it. It's like 10 episodes and it's really raw. It's not like heavily produced. And they meet all kinds of interesting people.
Oh, I like celebrity travel shows.
Yeah, you'd probably love this one because, you know, Ewan McGregor's just like, and Charlie, they're both the super charming, and the people they hire.
Are they both on their own motorcycles, or is it like a sidecar situation?
It's each their own, unfortunately.
A sidecar would be great.
That'd be even better. But if you've never seen that and you like travelogues and celebrity shows, it's a really good one. Venture, like wild adventure.
What was that one with that Plinkett?
The guy.
Oh,
what was his name?
Pilkington.
Yeah, Pilkington. That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
he hates travel.
Yeah,
An Idiot Abroad.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
I used to love that show.
Me too. Yeah.
Good.
If you like that, you'll like. It's like, it's even less produced than that show. It's just basically documenting them driving, but they have so much personality that it's not boring and ever. You know, in all the scenarios, the situations they get involved in, life-threatening stuff is insane. Ewan McGregor, what a life. Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Freddy.
You're welcome. I had to watch TV.
You did good work.
Thanks.
See, I read a book though.
Did you?
Hair flip. Yes, I read. I'm
Unfortunately,
reading.
it was Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
No.
Do you know why? Okay.
But all the proceeds went to charity.
Yeah, okay.
But it was a Nazi charity.
That feeds the hungry.
Oh.
But they're only white hungry.
We just can't decide where to come down on this issue. It's too morally ambiguous.
It's like that that bit on The Simpsons where they find that to feed?
The Frogurt.
No, the where they find the alien cookbook. And they,
Yes,
and
yeah.
they keep blowing things
yeah.
up, finding like it turns out it's like not what you think.
How to cook 440
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
That's funny. No, I'm reading Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne.
Young and upcoming artist. I've
Is
heard
it
the name.
It's
because
a little
steampunk month?
steampunky. I mean, they have.
I mean, he is the father of
instruments.
steampunk, right?
Yeah. Jules Verne, yeah.
Why are we? There was a reason why I decided to pick it up. We were talking about something or watched something where you said, "Have you ever read Journey to the Center of the Earth?" And
I don't think I asked
remember-
if you ever read it. I probably asked if you ever seen a movie.
Oh, okay.
But when I read that, and I'll tell you how I remember this book is wrong.
It is wrong.
And I'm hoping somebody can tell me that I'm blending together. It's very much a Blue Velvet Wild at Heart situation where I know that there is something. But there used to be these books you could get that were illustrated classics for kids, basically, but they were like comic book versions of Jules Verne and H.G. Wells and Mark Twain, all that shit. And the way I remember A Journey to the Center of the Earth, the first time I ever read anything about it was in one of those books, and they had a fucking drill, I thought, that they
Like
drilled.
a pop-up book?
It was like an illustrated book.
Oh,
They
okay.
were like, you can find them at like antique malls now and stuff, but they were big in like the 60s and 70s.
Like an actual drill.
It was like a drill. It was
That
a
drilled
vehicle
to the center of the Earth.
that they would get inside, and it had on the end of the
Didn't we just watch that
vehicle-
movie that did that?
Oh, Baron Munchausen did that. Maybe. Yeah, but I feel like
Right? Was it Baron
it
Munchausen
might have
or
been.
was-
I think it was Baron Munchausen. Oh my God, it's all bleeding together again. It's all bleeding together.
Holy fuck! I gotta stop smoking so much weed.
Anyways, I
There's a
misremembered.
reason.
They only climb a fucking rope down. You say.
You know, we can talk about the reason for hours because we don't want to mind your mind.
It's weird up there,
Yeah.
y'all. Yeah, I'm about 80% through
Yeah.
right now. They do not use a drill. What they do is they find a secret letter from an Icelandic man, adventurer, explorer, that refers to and implies that there is a access to the center of the Earth through a dormant volcano. So that's what they do. They actually climb down a dormant volcano
That's cooler.
and enter the
Sounds
Earth.
dangerous. It sounds very hot.
It's this guy, his nephew, and their Icelandic helper, Hans. So it's Professor Liedenbrock.
What's like the tone of it? Because I've
Axel
never read
and
this
Hans.
the straight up.
The tone is it's Axel, the nephew, who's writing.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling the story from his point of view, based on his notes and everything as they completed this adventure. It's really good, actually. It's very compelling. It's a lot of climbing and walking, and you're like, this should be boring,
Yeah.
but it's not.
What's the reading level like? Is it for adults or?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say it's written in such a way that probably high school and up.
Was it pulp considered pulp? Do you know? I shouldn't even ask. I have no idea.
I couldn't tell you that.
I know, like you talk about like the serials and Charles Dickens and all that stuff, and they were like, it was just kind of like the common entertainment.
Right.
They kind of feel like that.
Yeah.
It's that era kind of.
But
I
it's-
could be wrong.
It's very scientific. Now, obviously, the center of the Earth is not going to be what they encountered, because I think, we pretty much know what's down there. But
Magma.
they do not encounter magma. In fact, it doesn't get hot. In fact, they encounter an underground sea. Although, maybe there's one of those. Who knows? But it's very scientific and very some of it's a little dense to get through. So
And it's fantasy science, right? Like when you say scientific.
yeah. This is not real, obviously. But yeah, it's
But
been a
what
lot of
if it
fun.
were?
I know, right?
That's what there's
I
some
would go to the
podcasts
center
out
of the
there.
Earth.
Joe Rogan, doesn't he believe in the center, like Earth people? I don't know.
That there's a whole other world
I
down
presume Joe Rogan believes in
It's either that or flat Earth.
lizard people. Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool though. I think I should read it because I feel like it's a gap for me. Reading the kiddie version with the drill, which I think they just made a bunch of shit up.
I
to
don't
make it
know
more
what
exciting.
you're talking about. There was no,
Yeah.
not even a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no drilling.
I could be thinking of a completely different story.
I think you are.
Yeah. There's another story where they go into the earth with a drill.
Somebody's screaming at their
A team.
phone right now.
It's also steampunky and like has like they wear like the ruffled collars and shit. I think they didn't make a movie of it with Doug McClure, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it had a drill in that one.
Yeah, that's the movie we watched.
Yeah, maybe that's what
It was
polluted
Doug
my
McClure.
mind. Yeah. Doug McClure.
Yeah.
We could have a whole podcast about like what does Freddy remember, and then we try to figure out. Our goal is to try to figure out what he is talking about by the end of the show.
It's
Yeah.
like regarding Henry in
Yeah.
here. You remember that movie?
Yes,
sad
with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
He lost his memory.
They had to help him get his memory back.
Is that a net bending too? I think.
I think so. See, we're in it together now.
You guys,
We're swimming in the memories.
you're good.
Jules Verne. Who wrote the Around the World in 80 Days?
That's Jules Verne.
Okay.
And then H.G. Wells is a time machine.
Okay.
But I get them mixed up.
I read Around the World in 80 Days in middle school, and I think I read this too because I read Around the World in 80 Days, but I don't remember this because that was almost more than 30 years ago.
I would think
Yeah.
this is awful dense for middle school.
Yeah.
He did 20,000
But maybe
Leagues
I'm
Under
just a
Sea,
little
too.
bitch. Who knows?
20,000 Leagues.
Yeah.
Legit steampunk.
I was
as
a
well.
really smart middle schooler, Amy.
You're the best.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
You are pretty smart. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply anything. I'm just saying, knowing what I know about
I
the
just
children.
remember. I remember reading it, but I don't remember the book because
You
like I
remember the
said,
drill, though.
It's very almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Would be weird if Andy also remembered the drill specifically, and you're like, no, they climb a rope, and we're both like, no, it's a drill. It's another Berenstain situation.
Drill, baby, drill.
Mandela effect.
Man, it's amazing how the human memory works and stitches things together
Yep.
out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much of what you remember is really just a pastiche. It's not real. It's not accurate.
Right.
Especially movies and stories, because they didn't really even happen to you to begin with. So you have even more room to fill in.
Well,
gaps.
there's only so many stories
yeah.
out there. Everything is based on what is that thing that said there's only 7 stories out there or
Something like that. Yeah. And
So
yeah.
eventually everything's gonna melt together.
Yeah. It's kind of nice when you get over the cynical part of it, where you're just not like, oh, everything's the same. When you lean into it and you're like, you start seeing like the patterns of like.
It all
what
comes
they
back
all
to Star
come out.
Wars.
It always comes back to Star Wars, and that
Yep.
makes you feel almost like religious.
Well, some people treat it as a religion.
They do. That crazy old religion.
Yeah.
Is that what he says? I don't even know. I'm a bad Star Wars fan. He calls the Force
You're the worst.
crazy old religion.
You're the absolute worst.
I am.
Andy,
I saw 28 years later.
Oh, is that out already?
that's already out.
Yeah.
That's me paying
This
attention.
just came out like last Friday. So
Okay.
Yeah. How was it?
it's hard to talk about without spoiling, but I'll try my best. So
Did you like it?
I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's not what you think it is.
Right.
It's still Danny Boyle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically a coming of age story and a hero's tale.
Yeah. It's like Star Wars.
Yeah.
oh my god.
But a lot of like zombie movies deal with the outbreak or the world after, and this does obviously 28 years later, but it's told from just the perspective of this 12-year-old boy. So it's his journey within this universe.
Do you get flashbacks to fill in the blanks?
Not really. I think he.
I almost appreciate that.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's why I asked. Yeah,
like
'cause
we
I was
get
like,
it.
I don't want them.
We already
Yeah,
know
so
all
like
that.
we know the stories about zombie movies and stuff like that, but I like how they approach this as just this boy's story and like his growing up within the world.
This is like a very juvenile question, but how the zombies look?
Good.
I did growth there.
That's another thing that's what I like. They evolved the zombies. These aren't the zombies. It's the same universe, but these zombies have almost formed their own world.
Yeah.
And they're moving beyond just those the violent and rage zombies.
So they're not just angry zombies anymore. There's other kinds.
It's almost like a society
Oh wow!
that they develop.
I can't wait to see this.
Interesting.
That sounds like.
I
when
mean,
they,
and I didn't know this, but
Yeah.
this is part of the first part of a planned trilogy.
Oh,
They already filmed the second one. They filmed it back to back, and I didn't know this going in.
so it's a whole new trilogy.
so it's part of an unplanned trilogy
Yeah.
and a planned trilogy.
Okay.
But I was confused because at the very end it leaves like on a huge cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Oh, I don't
so
know about that. How
so
long we got to wait till this
just
next
till
one?
January apparently.
Oh okay.
So
Doling it out.
not too long, but if you didn't know this going in, you'd be really confused about
Yeah.
like, wait, there's another movie because it's like
Does it even say to be continued?
Definitely
I don't
Hallows
remember
all
that,
over
but
again.
it just introduces like a character all of a sudden at the very end. But now it does make sense looking back on it that they're making another movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
it feels
and-
like a fresh take.
And the end is like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's kind of cuckoo bananas the way they introduced this character. It's like I can't.
We got to rush
Right.
out
Yeah.
and see this. Let's gotta find some time.
And it's really good. It's like very moving to made me cry,
Oh,
which is like how
not hard to do.
The movie came up and pinched me really hard,
Yeah.
Yeah, you purple nurple.
but like it feels very earned and organic too. It's not like forced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Sweet.
and I like if they keep the filming style from the original, like 28 Days Later.
Still did the digital?
It's not. I don't know, but
Because that was a big deal when he first
yeah.
made it. I think it was
apparently
shot
he
in
filmed
digital.
it.
Yeah.
Apparently he filmed this all on iPhones or something like
Yeah.
that. But just talk about the frantic camera movements and like
Yeah.
the weird angles.
Yeah.
But it's like elevated from 28 Days Later. There's this one scene where they're running across the water. It was like spectacular. It was like really, really cool to watch.
because he's upped his game so much as a filmmaker since then.
So
too.
like I feel like this is a movie that plays better on the big screen because it just seems so much bigger, and the shots that they have just needs to be seen on like a huge screen.
yeah,
Interesting.
I feel the same way about Manhattan, baby.
And you remember that tree, that famous tree in the Gap that person cut down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this shows up, but then you like, wait a minute, that doesn't exist anymore because that person cut that tree down.
It was in the
Hadrian's
UK.
Gap. Hadrian's Gap, is that what it's called or something?
Somebody cut down a really old fucking tree.
Yeah, I remember just kind of vaguely.
Okay.
How
Your
long ago
face,
was
you were
this?
just like you
No,
looked
I was like, when was it?
like a
couple years
this
ago.
year or last
But
year.
when
right?
they filmed this, it was still there. Is what you're saying?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I just saw the tree in the Gap and I was like, oh,
It wasn't necessarily the same tree. Okay,
It's
I
like-
thought you were saying it was the.
I don't
famous
know
tree.
if it is the same tree from
Oh,
the
okay.
actual like real life
Right.
one.
Oh,
but
okay.
they do show that tree. I'm like, oh, poor
Gotcha.
tree.
That's where
Poor
my
tree.
confusion lay,
you were
and now you've resolved it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you do see this movie, don't read up anything about it. Just go in blind because there are some surprises.
Okay.
But make sure you open your eyes when you get there.
I mean, open your eyes when you're driving.
Yeah.
There.
That's probably a good idea too.
And you need to find your seat too.
Yeah, just sit
Then
down.
close
blind.
your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just listen. And that's fine.
like Sounds Dangerous, starring
Drew
Carey.
Carey. That used to be an old attraction at Walt Disney World.
Oh, should we pick a new theme right now?
Oh, yeah, we
oh
gotta
my
pick a new
gosh,
theme.
we gotta pick a new theme.
You want to do it or do you want me to do it?
I want you to do it.
Okay.
Andy's
To
picking a
do
new
it,
theme
to do it to
from
do
the
it,
hat
To do it. To do it.
for July.
Okay.
What we got?
He's got to take his glasses down to read it.
Canon Films.
Canon. Oh yeah, you know Canon.
Oh yeah.
Everybody listening knows
It's gonna be
Canon.
some trash.
That's easy.
What are we gonna do for a pun?
You don't even really need one. You can put a question mark after films if you're a jerk. But I'm not a jerk. I love Canon films.
We'll work on a pun. We'll figure it out. All right.
Canned and camera. Can's camera. Canon.
Oh, we talked about Candace Cameron.
Oh yeah, on
Perez.
Tropicana. In the
Portals
portal
to hell
in the
from horror
portals
movies.
to
On
evil
top of Candace Cameron.
that you can open into your house from watching horror movies.
Yep.
What a dumb.
But watch Manhattan Baby, and then maybe you'll reconsider. Maybe you could.
Maybe you could.
I'm overselling this movie to you. It's ridiculous.
You really are. All right, cool. At the end of every show, we always say hi to our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP if you're interested. Matt, Branan and Emily, Dr. Brian, Old Dirty Bill Sturd, Bill Fahrner, Blayne Yogurt, Jordache Jeans, Monica, Ernest, Dave, Paul, and Shayna Bobena.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Love
Everybody
you.
and stay cool out there.
Stay cool, you sweet babies.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old body